Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Netters Network Thursday Things. I got the title right this week.
It's your show. You can change it whenever you want.
Well, no, last time I was saying retro cinema because I'm so used to
Oh,
Saturdays.
yeah. Right.
This time I got my name right. Tonight is a special night.
It is special.
Because, well, it's not easy starting a new stream. And I am actually totally psyched that I have guests out for 2 months. I have 2 months worth of guests. I am so psyched on that. So what makes tonight really special is my first live guest, other than my husband, is everybody's favorite Blue Wrench deleted scenes. He consented to be my first guest, and I'm so honored that
he's your first victim.
I am so honored that he is here with us tonight, being my first live guest on my new live stream. Good evening, deleted scenes, and how you doing tonight, sweetie?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
Doing great. I forgot to ask, Troy, what you sipping on tonight,
Just
sweetie?
a little bit of bubbly, because it's a special night, right?
Yes. What are you sipping on, deleted scenes?
I have some sweet iced tea.
And I have A&W Zero Sugar Root Beer.
It's got that frosty mug taste.
Actually, it does.
There you go, see?
One of the few sodas that doesn't taste like diet. I can't stand that diet-y taste.
Yep. Good.
So tonight what we're going to be talking about is, like I said, everybody's favorite Blue Wrench, deleted scenes. Now,
This guy right
you all know him as our favorite Blue Wrench. But did you also know he has a channel that has content? And that's what we're going to be talking about tonight.
Absolutely.
But before we get started on that, let's say a quick hello to the chat. The first one I'm seeing is Logical Spock saying hi peeps. And then Connie Clary saying hello to Logical Spock. Then Lady Miss saying hello to Connie Clary.
we got a great chat here.
Then of course we got that deleted scenes guy saying hello to the chat. Okay, it's Lady Miss, Connie. I'm having a little bit of a contact lens problem here, so hopefully I don't miss anybody. We have JPRPH1 saying congratulations on your first guest. And what a fine first guest. I'm so looking forward to the stream. Well, thank you.
He's good people.
Yes. We also have Agent Boomer. How you doing, sweetie?
Boomer.
Big Al Presents. Have a great stream.
We just lost our guest. We'll get him back in here.
Well, I can put out my other hi sweeties while we're...
Yep. You want me to continue on from Big
Yes,
Al?
please.
We got Gorilla Random Thoughts. How you doing, sir? Longest running superhero RPG on Earth. Hey, CK. Good to see you, my friend. Let's see. People saying hi to each other. I like seeing that. That's community. I really appreciate that. And Big Al says the audio's low, so make sure you speak up, Netter, because the volume is as high as I can put it.
Okay. That better?
And I think we're caught up. We are caught up. And we just got Steven back. There we go. Okay.
So that is everybody in the chat. I'm going to stay in the StreamYard one. So, honey, if you can watch the YouTube things.
You bet.
Awesome.
Absolutely. And just remember what they always say about performing arts. Enunciation. Pronunciation. Volume. Make sure you work on that volume one. People wonder why I have such a big mouth. It's because I've been on stage. You kind of get used to it.
Yes. So, like I said, my very special guest tonight is Deleted Scenes. So, we want to know about Deleted Scenes. So, how did Deleted Scenes get started? So, how did you come up with the name?
When were you first deleted?
What made you decide to start a channel and choose the content that you do?
Well, that's kind of a two-part answer.
Okay. One.
I first got involved watching YouTube because I was a fan of a show called Person of Interest that used to run on CBS. It ran for 5 seasons, and was I found that there was a group of fans on YouTube whose content was basically uh, centered around reacting to the show. They did reaction videos, and I started watching them, and I got to know some of those people who would communicate back and forth and whatnot. So that's when I basically started watching YouTube, and I started getting to know people on some of these smaller channels who have since kind of built into something like Bad Movie Night and uh, some other channels. And then this little channel called Midnight's Edge started popping up on my queue. Watch Midnight's Edge. Okay, maybe later. You must watch Midnight's Edge. I'll get around to it. Watch Midnight's Edge. Okay. And I'll watch Midnight's Edge. And it was back when they were in the middle of Fan Force Stick and Shrinkgate.
Oh yeah, Josh Trank, right.
And I'm listening to the commentary, and they didn't have Tom yet. This is way back when they had Kevin narrating the videos. And I'm watching these videos, and I'm going, this is not the way to run a railroad. This movie is going to be a disaster because it was a disaster filming. And then we all saw Fan Four Stick, and
Excuse me.
and we wish we didn't. We have to bleach out our eyes.
I was
So
spared
that
because I was watching Midnight's Edge, and I knew I didn't need to bother with it.
I started watching. So I started watching Midnight's Edge, and I got to know them later on, Andre and Rob when he was still there, and eventually, of course, Tom. And then that's when I started to basically network, and that's where I met Paulie, and Paulie led me to Matt, and Matt led me to Pop Culture Minefield, and and T-shirted Historian, and some of these other people, and it was a T-shirted Historian who started calling me the YouTuber Ronin because I used to show up on everybody else's channel, and then I wound up doing this in the cast for a script reading of Batman 1983 that eventually was rewritten several times and became Batman 89. But this was a very early version of it. And it was...
Ham script?
Oh, no, it was the Mankiewicz script.
Oh,
That was before
okay.
Sam Ham. And I played Robin in that production, where Robin kind of gets shoehorned into the third act, and if you ask me, really didn't need to be in the movie, but
Yeah.
he's there, and he actually takes out Joker at the end, believe it or not. But anyway, that's where I got to meet. That's where I really got to know Matt and Jerry from Pop Culture Minefield. Who was telling me, and at the end of and at the end of that show, they were both telling me, you should, you should really start your own channel. You have a voice, you have something to say. And right around that time, Matt Allen, who used to have Bud Boy Productions. He was looking for like a temporary co-host, and on when he used to do his Saturday morning show, Saturday Serial, and I agreed to that, and so we did the show, and a few weeks into it, he was like, "Do you want to be my permanent co-host?" and that kind of started me on the way. And eventually, when he was in the process of moving, across the pond, you know, and when he moved here, he needed someone to take over the show, and that fell to me. So I wound up basically hosting, the last few episodes, and it kind of went from there. It was this matter of having people like Gary, like Matt, like Paulie, like you and others encouraging me um, to kind of come on and start my own channel, which, as everybody can tell, is very low tech. I'm on a laptop in my living room, and I know the sound is probably god awful, but you know,
We
and
all
I
had
just
technical difficulties
kind of
before, so
Right,
we fully
went from there.
understand. So now, how did you choose the name Deleted Scenes?
well, no one was using it.
Well,
No,
fair
um,
enough.
there is actually a story to it. Um, I was going to originally use Deleted Citizen, but I thought, well, that would be a little dark, you know, because
Yeah.
it was a take on how in this day and age we seem to be becoming numbers instead of people,
Mm, yeah.
and I was kind of trying to say something about that. And but I thought, like I said, might be a little dark, so I switched it to Deleted Scenes since I do a lot of film content anyway, and that was really kind of more me. So that's how it evolved.
That works.
That's pretty fair. Do you mind if I ask a question?
Go
Sure.
for it.
So I have come to rely on you not only. I mean, every channel knows you as the go-to Blue Wrench. You are a big help. You are a big cheerleader. You are awesome in that support role. But something else I've come to rely on you for is whenever I'm in a stream and I'm talking about the entertainment industry, a movie, a TV show, actors, whatever, and I have that brain fart. I can't remember the name. That guy from that show, that thing, and I know that you will be the first one typing it. It's either going to be you or Big Al is going to be typing that in. There's some others too, but you guys are the fastest on the draw with those kinds of things. So where did your love of the entertainment industry come from?
Well, my head is just filled with useless information and nothing else.
That
I have
really
deleted.
does answer the
I
question.
have
There you go.
I have deleted everything intelligent from my mind and filled it completely with movie knowledge. No.
Yes, yeah.
I just from a very young age, I just liked movies. And to a lesser extent, television. But I was just this big time movie nerd, and I just got to the point to where, you know, I remembered all the actors' names and the directors and all that, and just again, it was something that evolved. I was a weird kid. I watched everything. I went to the theaters to see Gandhi and Amadeus and The Right Stuff and all those kind of movies. And I just got to the point to where it's like, okay, I could win movie trivia night.
Yes, yeah. That's one of the things I definitely rely on.
Yeah, it's like I think I can name like 2 or 3 directors. It's like I just don't pay attention to them, so I don't really know directors or producers' names. It's like, and there are some actors I'm like, isn't so and so the actor or actress that was in this movie? And she'll be, no, that was this person. It's like, really? It's like, yeah, they kind of look a little alike, or their names are similar, or something. And it's like,
Guinea Pig Collective makes a great point. Useless knowledge is only useless for those who don't like that particular subject. I mean, we say useless, But then, how many times have you, helped me out by dropping a title in the chat or whatever? So it's not really useless.
Well, my dad was very much the same way. He was like, I would come and like, what are you watching? He says, I'm watching that show.
Yeah,
What show is that? That show with the guy on it. The guy with the nose
yeah,
and the two eyes. That guy, Dad.
yeah, yeah. That no,
He was the same. But that was really just more him not really caring.
yeah,
It's just like,
yeah, yeah.
is it good? Yeah, fine, great.
Right.
I mean, but the thing you have to understand about my dad is that he was someone who was very quiet for a lot of years. And he used to always accuse me of, hey, it's like pulling teeth to get information out of you, and I like, pot calling kettle black.
Yeah, right.
you know.
No, I
So,
understand that. That's that very, stereotypical, father, head of the family, comes home from work, doesn't talk, he's tired, he's ornery and stoic, just very stoic. So yeah, I get that, and I also understand the desire to not be that way.
but
Exactly.
one thing about my dad is that he's somebody who would kind of like sit there and watch a movie like this, and be there for an hour and then go bullshit and then walk off and go paint the edition,
Like he was thinking so hard about it, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, my dad was like the smartest person I'd ever, just about the smartest person I ever met. So he was someone who he he would be able to 10 minutes in tell you what's going to happen in a movie and be absolutely right. So
Yeah.
it was just it's like boring to him after a while.
There you go. There you
I used to be able to do that with like mystery shows where, we'd be watching, it's like, and then it's the ones where they don't show you who did it. And I'd be watching going, this is what happened, this is who the guilty person is. And it's like more often than not, I was right.
So, at the risk of, making it sound like the end of the show, because this is what we usually do at the end of the show, I think this is something we should talk about early in the show, since we're talking about you and what you do and your channel and so forth. So, what are the regular streams that you do? And what are oh, did we lose you? Can you still hear us?
I see a circle where he was.
Stephen, if you can still hear us, we're seeing the spinning circle that we lost you. Keep an eye on yeah, and we lost him. There we go.
He'll be back.
Absolutely, but keep an eye on the green room because that's where he'll come knocking. But anyway, yes, this is kind of an extension of last week where we were talking about some of the struggles that we deal with in YouTube land, and it's dealing with the internet. And honestly, I don't know, guys. It's not just YouTube and streaming. These days, for me, Netter and I both work from home. So it's, all the connection to the office is through the internet. And when it goes out, we're kind of sunk.
Yeah, it's like sometimes I can use the mobile hotspot on my phone to be connected, but sometimes that doesn't want to work either. And it's like, oh great, I can't work.
But,
So I'll text my boss and go, internet's out, can't work. I'll let you know when it's back up.
but we got him back. So Stephen, I was asking, what are your regular streams that you have
Yes.
every week, and what are the kinds of things people can look forward to just sporadically and whenever.
Well, okay. Right now, I am doing a weekly series called Unscripted. It is Sunday nights at 8 o'clock, right before Geeky Geezers,
Yep.
and it's gotten a pretty positive response. So I'm going to be continuing with that. Um, I'm kind of formulating right now what I'm going to talk about because basically it's called unscripted, but there is very much a structure to it. I have my intro. I pick out a couple of subjects to talk about for about 10 or 20 minutes or so. Then I have a physical media section, and then I open the chat up to questions. Yeah. So I say it's unscripted, but there is very much a structure. It's just basically me picking a subject and then rambling on about it for about 20 minutes. You know?
That's
But
absolutely fair.
know,
Uh,
luckily from whenever the good news for me is that when the chat is there, I have someone who can rein me back in, you know, um, like they had to do in last week's show because that was when uh, I did something on my channel I don't normally like to do, and that's basically get a little bit political. I tried to avoid it, but with uh, some of the events of last week, particularly surrounding Disney, I
yeah.
felt like, well, if I'm going to do a pop culture channel, sometimes I have to delve into subjects I don't necessarily want to talk about, but I can't ignore them because they're big news. When you have someone as high up on the food chain as Victoria Alonso, or today Ike Perlmutter, um, being fired,
Yeah.
not let go, not come back in 6 months, you know, not take a temporary leave of absence, fired
Yeah.
publicly.
Yeah.
You know, I can't let that kind of a news story go and not talk about it. You know, and and when you have someone as controversial as Victoria Alonso and some of the statements that she's made, you know, I can't let those statements go. And this is something, and you know this about me. This is something that I've brought up before on other streams. I don't like it when the people who go and see your movies,
Right.
those aren't the people that you insult. And when someone who's uh, that high up on the food chain in the studio, she's basically the third in she was basically the third in command over at Marvel. You know,
And
starts
when they refer to
making
her as
statements
a,
like that, you can't let it
oh, sorry.
go.
Yeah,
No, no, no.
when
Go
they
ahead.
refer to her as I've heard that people that have worked with her called her a bully, and I think about these kinds of people that
Hmm.
take to social media and castigate fans and say they're this and they're that. Um, yeah, that's exactly what they are. They they are unprofessional. They are bullies, and I think that the most righteous among us uh, get upset about that. We want to see justice done. We want to see the bad guy get punished. And when you hear that someone like Victoria Alonso gets frog marched out, you go, well, good riddance to her. And then you hear this, and it's like, let's see how this goes. Because don't forget, he still owns a lot of stock in that company. He'll be back, but he'll be back in the boardroom. That's what I think.
I mean, and what we're essentially watching right now is a proxy war between Bob Iger and the shareholders, in particular Nelson Peltz.
Yep.
And and again, you can go to channels like Midnight's Edge and Valiant Renegade, and and you can and Stephanie Janet Jack, and you can find out way more. Or read Cameron Pasha's page. That's what I do. This is where I'm getting my information from. I don't have spies inside of Disney, so if I'm going to go into that kind of a discussion, during one of my shows, I gotta go by, kind of, secondhand. But
And then there's
because everyone knows, of course,
his
I am doing,
rumors.
you know,
Right.
you know, I even had somebody ask me once, "Are you Doomcock?" And I'm like, "I wish." I would
You
have way more
look at my
subs.
sound setup here, and then ask me if you think I'm Doomcock. It's like,
you know,
yeah, well, but yeah, that's true. I get that. And at the same time, though, and you've heard me and Aged Boomer on Geeky Geezers. We are very, very clear. We're constantly dropping our sources because we're referencing whether it's Midnight's Edge or what news outlet it is or whatever, because we don't have any sources either. But I think sometimes the ones without the sources can have the sharpest outlook, right? Because it's like, look, it's Plato's cave, right? I'm in a cave and I don't know what's on the outside. All I know is the shadows that are casting themselves on the wall, and I can make deductions based on that. And unfortunately, I feel like a lot of the people on the interwebs don't have the perspicacity to understand what they're seeing in those shadows, and they don't have the insight to someone who's actually out there, so they believe these other sources that they take as holy gospel, and it's like they said it, so it must be true. And then we see reality play out, and we go, and you still believe those sources? Okay, just saying, just saying.
right? Because how many YouTube channels were out there saying, that the Damon Lindelof movie, the Star Wars movie, was going to happen?
Yeah.
When we all knew full well there was no way that was going to happen.
Yeah.
But there were people who were reporting it like they were already shooting it already. Which up to a point I can understand because, there's some funny business going on behind the scenes over there at Disney, and in particular with Star Wars.
That if you were a media outlet, you would think that after being wrong enough times, you'd start hedging your bets. Hedging your bets, by the way, which happens to be the theme song of my channel. But hedge your bets and start, moving to the I'm just here reporting what has been said. Sources for such and such said this. And you just report what was said. You don't put any stock in it. You don't, put a spin on it for them. You just, what is it? Just the facts, ma'am. Right? Dragnet. Was I right? Did I get the right reference there?
Just the facts? Yeah, that was Dragnet.
Okay, Dragnet. There we go. Okay.
Here's a fun fact about Dragnet. Did you know the original Dragnet that was on telly?
Yep.
With Jack Webb?
Yep.
That they tried to make everything as authentic as possible, right down to the extensions on the telephones. They were actual extensions for police officers that would have had those desks.
I didn't know
He
that.
wanted it to be very authentic, and he was determined. It's like, if somebody were to dial this extension, they're actually going to reach a person. Like if it said, like the desk belonged to John Smith, if they dialed that extension, they would get John Smith. They made it very authentic. He insisted on it.
That's pretty cool. I know a lot of actors like in Star Trek and so forth. They wanted to kind of know, like the technical. If they're going to be pressing buttons, they wanted it to kind of make sense. Because it's part of your inspiration there. But,
See, my thing would be if I'm going to press a button, I want it to actually like press in and make a noise or light up or do something. Just hitting on something that's supposed to be a button with it not moving or not making a sound or lighting up or whatever, just is kind of disappointing and anticlimactic.
Yep, exactly.
So we've talked about how you got started. Where do you want it to go?
Yeah.
Where do you want your channel to go?
Well, that's very simple. I want to take over the internet, one channel at a time. No.
No, that's absolutely fair.
I'm being facetious. I'll just be happy if I make it to 200 subs and be able to keep them. I
The
never
two are
thought
mutually
that.
exclusive, right? You can set your sights on taking over the internet, But your first, milestone will be getting 200 subs. That's fine.
And we have a new person in the chat I hadn't seen before. Fletcher Williams, welcome.
Hey, Fletcher.
Oh, Fletcher, hey.
Must be a friend of yours.
We're getting there, yeah. Fletcher's shown up in my chat a number of times, so yeah, it's good to see him. He's supported the channel.
Well, Fletcher, I just subbed to you. Appreciate a sub back.
Yep.
Together we grow.
Hopefully we've earned it with this awesome guest that we have on tonight.
Absolutely.
So yeah. So I'm okay. So 200 subs is your current goal. What's your strategy? What's your strategy for getting there? How do you plan to get there?
Hopefully just by getting the word out about my channel, because like I said, my channel is very low tech, obviously. My main goal was to just find good entertainment and then let people know about it. And I didn't really go into this with any plan. Really, I had no plan. Much like the sequel trilogy, I had no plan.
Well,
no.
Well, I hear you there, my friend.
And it was just I had 35 subscribers before I even put a single video out, and that was just off of the fact that again I had making appearances on other channels and people really kind of supporting me and getting behind me, and it just kind of blew up from there. I never expected that so many people would care about what I have to say. I had, just to go a little bit into my background. I have I had kind of a dark childhood, in my opinion. I just to let everybody know, I wasn't like horribly abused or anything. It's just that my parents grew apart, and my mother left, and it was kind of me and my dad for a long time, really. And I was somebody who was kind of, because he had to work. He was in the military, then he retired, then he had to work, and then, so I was someone who was kind of left alone a lot. And it was very hard for me to kind of get close to people. This talking got to the point to where that became a chore. Which this is kind of why I sound kind of the way that I do when I'm live. I am among friends right here, and I am nervous as hell. But it's it's like the brain knows what I want to say, and then it comes out of my mouth as a bunch of gibberish.
Oh, that's me all the time.
But
well, a Joker voice would just say, keep talking.
Yeah, exactly. But so I never really expected anybody to care about anything that I had to say, because my life experience has been no one cares about what you say. It's a lot of me trying to say something and then somebody else telling me to shut up. There was a lot of that. So I just went very inward and kept very quiet and read a lot. And when nobody was around, watched movies, and then just kind of gained this whole encyclopedic knowledge of film.
I totally understand that, because it's like, when I was growing up, I was the youngest of 5. Everyone always either ignored me or talked over me, or basically told me I wasn't worth listening to because I was younger. So my opinion can't be worth anything, What do I know? So I fully understand that.
But I'll tell you, just to encourage both of you. I mean, and this is just where I am in life. I just figure, I'm more than halfway through this this journey of life, and I've learned some things along the way. And with age comes wisdom if you're doing it right. And I think I have something to share. And if people, don't want to listen, that's their loss. My mom always said you can learn things the easy way or the hard way. The easy way is to learn from other people's mistakes. The hard way is to make the mistake yourself and reinvent the wheel. So I've learned enough things the hard way that I would like to be able to help people learn things the easy way. But if you don't want that, if you want to suffer, go right ahead. And I've also found that when you deal with things in the interwebs, when you get into these little squalls online, you try to convince somebody of something, and they're not listening, they're not hearing it. They're trying to tell you. When you get tired of making fun of the dingbat, you just say, well, good luck with that. We'll see what happens and, whatnot. Because unfortunately, and I think a lot of my listeners have heard this before, I've got a buddy in the from our Klingon group who is constantly sending me emails and notes and stuff going, well, you were right again. I don't know, what was I right about? And he'll show me some news article or some whatever that I had predicted in some conversation. He goes, how do you do it? What are you, psychic? No, I'm not psychic. I know history. History tells you, if you want to know what's going to happen, look at history. It's not going to specifically repeat, but it definitely rhymes. You start to see the patterns, and now he's doing it. Now he's coming back and saying, I was right. And I'm like, see, you learned the secret. I gave you my special superpower. All you had to do was listen. So I want to pass that superpower on to some other people. And so I'm just saying all this long-windedness to encourage you, Stephen, that you're passing on your superpower. Your what you believe to be your useless knowledge and your insights. And it's a superpower that someone can benefit from if they choose to.
And I totally get what you're saying about, is anyone going to want to come to my channel and hear what I have to say? I think that's why I have my channel so eclectic, because I figure this will appeal to one person, this will appeal to somebody else, this will appeal to other people. And it's like, so I will get different people that might come to my channel, might want to hear what I have to say, and if they like it, they'll come back. And if not, well, I'm having fun with it. And right now I think last I looked, I have 212 subscribers, so not a huge amount, but I'm growing, just like you're growing. I think last I looked, you were 184. Let's see if that's gone up. I have to scroll to find you again at the top of my screen. Here we go.
But hey, 184 is nothing to sneeze at.
Absolutely.
184 subscribers. That's pretty good. I stayed around that for the longest time, but it's like you seem to have shot up from. I think you were like 160 not too long ago, and now you're 184. So you're really shooting up.
Well, Stephen, you were talking earlier about networking, and I would have to say you are definitely very skilled at. Well, let me not say skilled. You have a natural propensity for the networking, and how do you do it? Just by being you. You go to the channels, you participate in the chats, you share out the streams to everybody. Like, what did I call you earlier? The big cheerleader of the community.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
It's the way I always say it is that if you want me, you kind of get me, for better or worse.
Yeah. And then he leaves. Perfect guy. If you want me, you get me. Otherwise, I'm gone. So Fletcher was saying, yes, it's a DVD case. Those are all. You can almost see the full span of
Let's
our.
see.
You literally are
Uh,
seeing the full
Here.
span of
So
our
there's
DVD.
one end,
collection.
and it goes to the ceiling.
Yep.
And there's the other end, and it goes to the floor. So it's ceiling to floor, pretty much.
And every other Saturday, Netter trades off with
Big L.
Big Al of Big Al Presents to do watch parties of the different movies. So she's currently in the C's right now, and she's literally going alphabetically. So that first column on the far left, that's where we're at. We're just getting down to we're almost at the floor.
Now,
Welcome back,
yes.
Deleted Scenes.
Now,
Dear
deleted scenes-
AT&T,
Yes.
go f- yourself.
I just changed your status. You are no longer a regular moderator. You're the, what do they call it, super moderator?
Super mod. You are a super mod on Netter's network.
I think that's what it's called. Let's see.
You're
Wait.
gonna have to show me how to do that tomorrow for some people.
It is, what's it called? A managing moderator.
Managing
so
moderator.
You're no longer standard moderator. You're now managing moderator.
Oh.
So you got a promotion.
It means
I
more
appreciate it.
responsibility and a title, but you don't get any more pay. Pretty much like the business world.
I want to raise.
And Evelyn Hampton,
And you-
welcome. Evelyn Hampton says, sorry I'm late, my Wi-Fi turned itself off. Well, our guest is having a very similar problem tonight, so he can definitely empathize with you. But we're so glad you're here. Of course, Evelyn by this point probably already knows Deleted Scenes from my channel well enough. You've been on enough times, and you're always in the chat interacting, so... I don't think it's a great big surprise. AT&T, yes, AT&T guys.
We have Comcast, and it's better than some of the other ones we've had, so we're sticking to it. And we only have it for internet. We haven't watched television in forever. It's been over 5 years since we cut the cord. And if we want to see something, we either download it or rent it or whatever, or watch the million movies we got behind us.
You know, AT&T stands for American Telegraph and Teletype. I think that's pretty much what they're running the internet on these days, it seems.
That's carrier pigeon.
And going back to what you were saying about having not really watched television in 5 years, you said I've been that way the last couple of years. I got to the point, where just I disconnected. I had DirecTV, and I disconnected from all that because it's like, why am I paying for something that I'm not watching anyway?
Yep.
And what I was watching was telling me what an evil person I was.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's the point of that? I was getting to the point where all I was watching was Barney Miller reruns. Seriously.
You could do worse. I mean, that's not bad,
I think
That was it,
The thing that pissed me off the most about cable is that I was paying for sports channels, and we don't watch sports. And when I said, well, can I get a package that, that doesn't have sports? They're like, no, it's inclusive. You have to pay for it. It's like, but I don't watch them. And we were only watching maybe 7 channels total of all the cable channels. We're like, why are we doing this? So we just stopped.
Look, it comes down to, the simple supply and demand, right? And if you aren't providing the service people want, they will leave you. And every time our contract would come due with our cable company and the prices shot up, Netter would be on the phone with them. And it's like, look, you need to understand, I do not need your service to live. I am more than happy to walk away. You need to make it worth my while. And they would always find some kind of a deal for us. And then eventually we just decided, you know what? If they gave it to us for free, it's not worth it anymore.
Exactly.
Because we really were not watching anything anymore.
Fletcher Williams said, I just started doing reviews on my other account, and I have like 5 followers and 25 on my gaming channel. You just have to keep having fun. Exactly. That's what
Yeah.
having a channel for me is about. It's like I started doing these Thursday night streams just because no one else was doing anything on Thursday. So when we're doing the weekend review, you get to Thursday, it's like Thursday, yeah, nothing. Okay, Friday, we're doing Friday night Let's Call, Saturday, da da da. So I was like, nobody's doing anything on Thursdays. I could do something. So I figured I'd try this. Let's see how it works. And right now I have guests lined up to the middle of June. Yeah. So it's like I have at least that much ahead of me to do. And I'm excited for it because I'm going to be having different people on my channel that I can learn more about them, more about their channels, more about, delving into their minds. What's their thought process on all of this? Just like I was asking you about, how did you get started? What made you want to do this? And you were talking about that. And here's something that you guys are going to laugh at me. Midnight's Edge, I thought they started their thing at midnight, and that's why they were called Midnight's Edge.
But even if that was true, this is something that I always say about the YouTube channels. You don't make a live stream, you can just watch it when you wake up in the morning.
True.
You can stream it, at your leisure. That is probably one of the best things about consuming your entertainment in this fashion rather than, the old television model. You're kind of limited to when the show broadcasts,
Well, it's like there are also some YouTubers that I will find, like, there's this one married couple that does a lot of resin stuff. And we caught a couple of the episodes that were recent, and then we just started going back and watching, like, really old ones from when they first got started. And what's funny is you're watching these, and you're seeing how they've, for lack of better phrasing, grown up.
Yeah.
And how they've changed things. At one point they moved house, and how they changed everything around there. And it's like, just seeing that growth with them and their channel was really interesting to see.
Yeah. But yeah, I've had so many bigger channels, talking about, getting to that first 500 is, such a slog, and then getting to the first 1,000, seems to take forever. But everyone that is a bigger channel just, keeps assuring, it gets easier. It kind of, there's a momentum, and then it stagnates for a little while, and then it starts up again.
And like PJ always says, together we grow. We just keep promoting one another. We keep trying to get, people to subscribe to one another. When you drop those links for all of us, we're always saying, subscribe to everybody in the chat. Even if tonight I get one new sub, because I have you as a guest host, that's one sub I didn't have before.
And, Fletcher Williams says YouTube has a lot of down-to-earth folks, but you have to dig for it. That's exactly what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to build a community of people I like, and people that like me. People that want to hear what I have to say, and I want to hear what they have to say, And, that's what I want to grow, because there's so much negativity out there, so much, and when I say negativity, don't get me wrong, I'll go on a rant. I'm an old, ornery, cantankerous kind of guy, so you'll get a yarn from me sometimes, but that's not what I mean. I mean, we could share some misery, and commiserate, and still have a good time in each other's company, But yeah, that's probably more important than big communities and theoretical monetization and stuff like that. It's people like yourself, Stephen, Ryan Rodrathe, who I'll have on tomorrow night, and I was inspired by you guys to do exactly that, to have people on my show that I enjoy hanging out with, so other people can get to know them. Now Netter's doing the same thing. Yeah, together we grow. Right.
It's just a matter of the networking. you know, Ryan Roger Athay just decided, I'm going to just start talking about people. So he made everybody a rising star.
Yep.
And it's like, wait, this guy was talking about me. That's kind of cool. And so you go to his channel, you sub to him. And he got like almost 1,000 subs, I think, pretty much overnight.
Yeah. Yeah, you figure if he does 1,000 videos for 1,000 YouTubers and each one of them says, "Oh, I'll subscribe to you," you know, there you go. There's your 1,000. But man, he's putting out like 3 videos or he was putting out 3 videos a day. I'm like, oh, I can't do that. I still got to work a regular job too.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, that's right. He's got a regular job and he does that.
Yep.
It's like, it's funny. So every time I'm looking differently, I'm looking over my laptop at Troy, who's sitting like 4 feet in front of me. So I'll notice that when I look back, I'll notice that my gaze is like up and kind of over. And it's like, oh,
It
yeah,
really,
it's
I never noticed this before, but I would imagine that if we didn't mention that from time to time, it looks like you and I are in 2 different rooms.
Yeah, because what's behind you is a lot different from
But
what's behind
literally, Netter and I are facing each other right now.
me. Yeah, we are literally 4 feet here.
Oh, you're not quite in front of my. There you go. There you go. There's proof. Proof that my wife lives with me.
Honey,
Oh,
bring the kids down, honey.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm alone.
Yeah. Sorry. No, you're not. You are here with us. Just more virtually.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm okay. And scene.
And scene. I knew that was coming. Fletcher Williams says yes, but how much content is too much content? I have an answer to that, but I'd like to hear your answer to that, Steve.
How much content is too much? You know, I don't think it's so much quantity of videos, but quality. You know, I've seen people put, you know, you can put out as many videos a day as you want. But if there's nothing of substance to them, or if you're just going to, you know, see some rumor that you saw on some website and you decide you're going to do a video on that, it might get you clicks.
Yeah.
But it's not going to get you subscribers, you know, because you know, it's like, who's going to care? I mean, you know, your channel has something to say. You know, Midnight's Edge has something to say. Paulie has something to say. You know, if it's just somebody, you know, reading something off of another website,
Yeah.
go work for that website. You know, and I'm trying to say this in a way where I'm not naming names, because one thing I don't want to do is start running down other YouTubers.
I hear you. Yeah.
Everybody's channel is their own. But if you're just going to, you know, go to a website and just start droning on, you know, over some story that's already 2 weeks old, what's the point of that?
My personal take is that, and this is based on something that a YouTuber I greatly respect. I was in his member chat earlier today, and he was talking about doing content that he knows is not going to get a lot of clicks, that he knows is not going to, you know, really further his channel, but it's something he's interested in talking about, and he knows that there are some people that are in his community that would be interested, and that's why he does it. And so my thought is, whatever you feel like putting out, put out as much as you feel like. There is no too much, because nothing says you got to watch it all, right? There are a lot of channels that I watch them for certain content they put out, but if it's another kind of video that they sometimes do, nah, I'm not interested in that, you know? And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, yeah, I don't want to give any specific examples, but yeah, there are some channels where I definitely follow them for, you know, okay, so toy channels, for example. I want to hear what the latest word is from Hasbro. I want to see a review of these action figures, whatever. But then on occasion they'll do these, like, you know, best to worst lists. Nah, I don't care about that. I have in my own head what my
Or they'll
best to
have
worst is, you know.
the same character. It's like, okay, here's 4 of the same one. This was done in 1996. This was done in 1970, whatever. This was, you know, and it's like, and you can see how one is really, really good and the other ones are really kind of not.
Yeah.
And they're like, you know, this one's so much better, but this one's the retro one, and, you know.
And yeah, but then, you know, maybe that's not a toy line I'm interested in. Maybe I tune out for that one. But yeah, so I think that's basically how I feel about this concept of having too much. I suppose, and this is something I'm going to have to think about more. I have so many live streams. I do a live stream every week, right? And I have so many streams that I've done. I have a good handful of, you know, standalone videos that I put out. There's so much there. You subscribe to me today, you may or may not want to go into my back catalog and start looking at older streams. I mean, that could be a heck of a time investment, but, you know, it's out there. If you get bored one day and you want to hear an old Italian guy ramble on, you just, you know, call up one of my streams and listen to it for an hour or two.
Well, I said, like mine are eclectic, where my very first video was folding a box because it was a really good box. And then I've gone on to do other things like product demonstrations and my bathroom renovation. Excuse me. And because I have different things on there, I'm going to appeal, hopefully, to different people. And then they're going to come and want to check me out and hopefully come back and want to see more. And that's the same with everyone's channel. I'm hoping that, you know, someone will go to a channel they've never been to before. They'll watch some vids, go, hey, this is really pretty cool, and then keep coming back for more content. I had started watching this one purely by accident because it showed up, you know, when you see a vid in YouTube and along the side it's got suggestions. One of them was a chick called Albert. And I'm like, what is this? And it had a picture of a little chicken. And I clicked on it and I expected to see, like, you know, funny animal things. And basically this guy has, he raises chicks from babies, but he also had a squirrel that was a baby that I guess was abandoned by its mother. So he built a outside enclosure for it with a little den so he can choose where he wants to sleep. The squirrel sits on his shoulder, rides around with him, you know, walks around his house with him and everything. And it's like, okay, this is kind of cool and cute. So I started watching it for the squirrel to find out what was happening with the squirrel.
So, real quick, want to say hi to Darth Plato. We were talking about your cave a little while ago. Plato's cave. Never mind. Anyway, welcome, Darth Plato.
Okay.
But,
I guess you had to be there, honey.
Right. So, anyway. I think I've monopolized running your show for long enough. Where are we going from here?
Let's see. Talked about pets. Talked about where you wanted to go. Is there anything else you want to add to Deleted Scenes? Anything you want to ask us? Anything else you want to comment on?
Well, one thing that I do eventually want to do on my channel is actually a show like this one, where I can go on and have sort of like a guest of the week come on, and then just have that person come on and talk about whatever subject that they want to, like an open mic night. And I'm worried about doing something like that because, as you've seen tonight, my internet connection is crap. you know, and
It's a bit rough, yeah.
and
Williams
it's
was
rough
talking
and
about the feedback, and I'm like, yeah,
See, it's got much better now.
yeah, but there's
Yeah.
a hiss now in the mic.
Well, he's
It's
not.
not roboting, but it's hissing. So I'll take it. We'll deal with it.
yeah, I know what that is. It's the fan doing its thing, but
And Tommy says, "Breaker, breaker. This here's a rubber duck." Yeah, exactly. Convoy.
I know, you know. When so that's something that I would eventually like to do is a show sometime during the week where I can bring a guest on and just as an open mic let them talk about whatever they want to talk about for an hour or two. You know. Now, when I first started out, uh, I started out doing shorts. And I know there are people who are against doing shorts for whatever reason. They just prefer to do live streams, and that's perfectly fine. But I started out doing shorts, and I, I I basically did like these pocket movie reviews because I used to be on an app called Stardust, which I know a lot of people haven't heard of, but Stardust was where you would go on for like about 45 seconds or so and shoot these little movie review clips. And if you're familiar with Double Toasted, they actually have a couple of my old Stardust clips up. And so that's what I did. I was basically I was on Stardust, and it and this is part of my sort of political origin story too, in a way. Was it started to get woke before I kind of understood what woke was. You know, the last couple of years of my father's life, and he was very ill, and he got to the point to where I didn't like to leave him for very long. So a lot of that sort of the early days of wokeism passed me by because I was living real life. And I had to go online because I kept seeing this little hashtag woke everywhere, all the way down. Resist, hashtag woke. And I'm like, so I stopped one of these people, and I'm like, I'm kind of an old timer, what is this about? What are you resisting? What are you waking up from? And pretty much the answer was, we really don't know. Or, we're just resisting against anything that we don't agree with. And I'm like, well, then just agree to disagree. What's the difficulty here? So that's what I started to realize. That not only was just some online thing by a few kooks on Twitter that you could just ignore. This was starting to be something that was going into other platforms. This was something that I was starting to see on television, eventually into movies, and when the wokeism hit Stardust, it hit really hard, you know, and pretty much anybody who had any kind of a what could be construed as conservative leaning, even if they weren't, got shouted down and got
Uh-oh.
Yeah, got shouted down, and that's what happened to them. See? Actually, your timing is just perfect, Steven. Your glitches are great accents to exactly what you're saying. No, I totally get where he's coming from with this. I remember
I
someone.
remember so many times asking you, what the heck does woke mean?
I remember somebody at the office we used to work at talking about how important it was to get woke. And when I heard the things she was talking about, I'm like, okay, so you're a commie pinko, hippie, and well, good luck with that. And I've seen it, infiltrating, platforms like Steven was saying. I've seen it destroying and corrupting our entertainment, and sadly, I see it blossoming out of our public school systems, and I realize, oh, this is not something that's just happened in the past 10 years. This has been a long, slow burn by, bigger people than we are aware. And everyone who's going around, resist and hashtag woke don't even realize how they're being manipulated, how they've literally been indoctrinated into a cult.
For that weird twisty thing I just did, I have a small refrigerator just over here, and I had to get me another water.
There you go. There you go.
People are like, "What in the world is she doing?" I'm getting another water.
Yeah,
a small fridge.
Fletcher calls it exactly what it is. It's propaganda that has nothing to do with, and the best part about it, though, and I think we can all agree on this, it's propaganda done poorly. Okay, good propaganda, you probably wouldn't even notice, or the show is just so good. I'll let that. And I see it happen. I'll see when people give something a good review. I enjoyed it so much. Yeah, there was this one little woke thing, but otherwise it was all so good. I won't even give them that anymore. I think the best entertainment doesn't contain any specific messages in it. They contain timeless messages that can apply to everyone. Here's what I mean by that. So many people will go on and say, well, Star Trek was always woke. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It was topical. Okay? It would present issues, political and so forth, in such a way that you could see both sides of it. And you did see both sides. If you were on one side of an argument, you agreed with it, but now you could kind of see the other side, and you start to go, well, maybe there's something in the middle that I'm missing. That is a good storytelling, right? Propaganda is, we've already decided what's right, and our entertainment is going to tell you what's right, and you must agree with it. And welcome back once again, Stephen Otten, for the third time tonight.
You're saying that whenever you glitch out, it's always perfect timing to whatever it is you're saying.
Yeah, you're in the middle of it. They try to shut you down,
and boom,
you froze and you were gone.
Okay, so going back to my story. Hopefully, everyone can hear me.
Yeah, you sound
going
great.
back
Yeah,
to
you sound great now. Whatever you did.
Okay, I just switched to my phone. That's all I did.
There you go.
Okay. Basically, like I said, I was on an app called Stardust where I used to do film reviews,
Right.
and the whole beginning of this whole woke movement passed me by because I had real life going on, and I was in a situation where I despite myself, I had to be the adult.
Yep.
And so anyway, I eventually got onto the Stardust app. And when kind of the wokeism hit Stardust, it hit really hard. You have conservative, and anything that could be construed as like conservative leaning got shouted down. And there was one fella who he reviewed Song of the South
Mm-hmm.
just at random one day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he just decided that was the movie he wanted to talk about. You know, and he basically said, you know, this was a movie that was of its time.
Yep.
Look at it as a historical document, and it couldn't get made today for whatever reason,
Mm-hmm.
but it was a movie of its time. And that's basically all he really said. Nothing controversial. He just said, hey, I watched this movie. I liked it for what it was. It belongs in its time for what it was. And just look at it that way. If you look at it that way, you can get through the movie. And it's not going to be for everyone. But of course, everybody just jumped on this guy. You know, you're an ist. You know,
Yep.
you're, you know, how it's almost like a how dare you like a movie. And I'm like, wait a minute. You know, isn't that kind of the point of this platform? You know, we're critiquing film. We're not Pauline Kael, we're not Roger Ebert, but we're critiquing. You know,
Yeah.
we're critiquing film. And if you're going to get, you know, upset because someone liked a certain movie, then what's the point? You know, what is this? You know, digital McCarthyism all of a sudden? You know, is the you know,
But I will
are
make
you
one
now, or have you ever
observation.
been a member? I won't be a member of a club that would want me as a member. You know, but you know, I just, you know, that was my first tip that, you know, we've reached a point where we're going into some pretty dire straits.
Yeah. But then
Because
again,
Mhm.
something to think about though. You're talking about a platform that, as you pointed out at the beginning, most of you all haven't heard about it. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that platform nobody's ever heard of before?
Yeah.
They've kind of, whenever you drive away, at least half of your supporters and audience, you're going to go bankrupt. We see this happening to Disney right now in real time. We actually see it happening across the entertainment industry. It's just Disney is, you know, flooring the accelerator, you know, and leading the crowd off the cliff. But yeah, the you want to have a successful business, you keep your mouth shut about the politics, you play middle of the road, and you don't say anything that's going to isolate anybody, you know, and put people off. You want to kill your business, you fight the power and you get your message out, and you will no longer have a platform to get your message out on. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Self-defeating.
So, you know,
Mike is
when I
quiet, sweetie, so talk louder.
My mic is quiet? Really?
Yeah, she already said that you're quiet.
Okay. Well,
Well.
I'll make sure that I speak up. But we are. I don't know how long you wanted to go tonight, but we are past the 1 hour mark. I just wanted to.
Yeah, it's like basically, as long as Deleted had something to say, we're
Oh, I'm good.
Deleted, I
Yeah.
hope, will always have something to say. So this could be.
Oh, for sure.
This could be ongoing until he has to get something to eat or falls asleep. But
Yeah. I mean, but what I was kind of wanted to bring up in kind of this roundabout way is when I started doing videos on YouTube, I essentially just followed what I was already doing on Stardust, you know, because the YouTube shorts, it's the same thing, you know. So it's like, okay, just put the camera on myself, you know, say whatever I have to say for a minute, and hope it's not complete gibberish and everyone understands, you know. And my first two videos were, you know, about the Batman. I was reviewing the Batman, and basically all of that video was well, I liked the first half. You know, and that was pretty much it. And then it turned into Antifa Man and
Oh God,
whatever. But you know, but that was basically it. But people said, "Hey, we like that. Make more of them." So I kept going, and my sub count kept growing. And like I said, you know, like I say at the end of every video, you know, my subscribers are why I continue my channel. As long as they want to hear what I have to say, then I'll continue to be as on.
Well, since he's paused, anyone that is in the chat that is not already subscribed to Deleted Scenes, please go over to his channel.
Can everybody still hear me?
Yeah, we
can
can hear you now. Yeah, you froze for a minute.
So please go over to Deleted's channel and make sure you sub to him. I know he's at 185 right now. So come on, let's get that number up.
And I know Connie's dropping the links like crazy. Make sure you subscribe to each other.
Yes.
You know, because, you know, that's the community.
Together we grow.
Obviously, Netter, you could just hit the subscribe button below. Myself and Deleted Scenes are also linked in the description below. Super appreciate a sub from everybody, you know, that stopped in today. Sorry. Now that you seem to be back with us again.
Okay. All right. You know, the main point of my channel is this: point people into the direction of entertainment that's good. You know, whether it's a movie or if it's a book, and I do want to start talking about books a little bit more. And you know, or good television. You know, my thing is just be yourself, be honest. You know, I try to avoid politics, but I can't always do it. You know.
No, in that case, you need to be on his channel because he loves talking politics.
You know, my thing is like I said. You know, if you're watching me, you're going to get me, for better or worse. You know, it's, I'm not really saying it right, but
we get you.
You know, my thing is on my channel. You know, it doesn't matter. You know, if you're left or right, if you're straight or gay, young or old, you're welcome. You know, and if you agree with me on something, good. You know, if you disagree with me on something, also good. You know, just give me the chance to, you know, express my point of view as best as I can. You know, and that's really it. You know, I'm just, you know, I am the fan who got sucked in through the fourth wall. You know, I am the guy who watched these YouTube channels, got to meet people. They encouraged me to come on and do my own show, and sure, we can blame you for this. You know, y'all kind of froze up on me, so I don't know if I'm still on. But
nope, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
Okay, but you know, the thing is that you know, it's like somebody was saying to me the other day. You know, it's a shitty world. People just want to be entertained.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm trying to do, you know, or if I'm not entertaining someone, at least point them into the direction of something that can. And for as long as I am around, I'm going to try and do that, you know. And it doesn't matter if if I never get another sub again, or if I eventually get 10,000, because who's to say, you know? But the thing that is never going to change is the fact that I want to be genuine. I want to be honest, and I'm not going to BS, you know, my subs. I'm not going to BS my friends, because that's not how I operate. I don't know how to be any other way.
You're the genuine article. That's what we appreciate about you.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
you know, that's all I try to be.
Alrighty.
Definitely. Well, with I cannot talk today.
And that's exactly what we're here to do. So we kind of need to be able to talk.
So with that, let's do our week in review. So today's Thursday, Friday. What's going on Friday, Troy?
Yep. So tomorrow night, I think I mentioned it earlier. My regular show, Last Call, on Friday night. I will be my special guest behind the bar will be Ryan Roger Athe, whom we were talking about earlier in the stream. He is he called me a rising star last summer. A couple months ago, he had me on as a guest to interview for his reality-based show, and I want to get him back and kind of follow up with him on what he's been up to this past year and where he sees his channel going in the future. So, and he's of course adjusting his sleep schedule because he is on the other side of the pond. So
Yes, he is.
it's like 1 a.m. there. So this is it's a challenge for him, and I super appreciate him doing that. So that's he's good people. So yeah, that's tomorrow night.
And then Saturday night, we're back over here on my channel to rewatch the movie Chappie, which is about a robot.
Yes. Which
in simplest terms,
Which
it's about
actually, I was not wrong when I first said that Hugh Jackman stars in that.
He is in it.
He is in it. Yes, he was in. Hugh Jackman was also in another movie with robots, but Hugh Jackman is also in Chappie. So
that's Saturday. That's 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern, just like tonight's show. Then we're on Sunday. And what's on Sunday,
Sunday, we got this guy named Deleted Scenes who's got a show called Unscripted. Is that 6 Central, 7 Eastern? Is that right?
That's 8 Eastern, 7 Central.
Oh,
okay. Well, it's an hour later than what I just dropped in there, everybody. I'll get that right going forward. Let me fix that. 1 hour before us, not 2 hours. So
Big L said Jackman has a thing for robots.
But so yes, so there's that, and then that brings us to I didn't grab the link, so because I'm working off my Geeky Geezers notes, so I wouldn't have had the link for Geeky Geezers in there. But then at 8 Central, 9 Eastern on Sunday, over to Geeky
Aged Boomer's channel.
Aged Boomer's channel for Geeky Geezers. Let me see if I could get his channel real quick.
I could probably do it.
And the reason that I don't have the link for it is because, of course,
I got it.
Thank you. Go ahead and drop that for me. You are awesome. And that's pretty much all I know about. That's as far as people have told me. Anybody that wants me sharing out their information, their streams, they gotta keep me posted. If you've got a regular stream that you need pitched, you gotta let me know about that.
Yeah, so it's, I don't know if anything Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, but then next Thursday.
Yeah, who are we having on next Thursday?
Next Thursday, we're going to have Gorilla's Random Thoughts.
Yes, that should be great. We've seen him in the chat, and we've been talking to him, and, get a chance to talk to him directly. That should be fun.
It's like I kept hitting enter, and the thing was not going. There we go. So there's Age of Movers channel, link to his channel. So then that brings us back to next Thursday, and that's our weekend review.
That's the week. So there we go.
Any final words, gentlemen? Let's start with our guest host, Deleted Scenes. Any final words?
All right. Well, I'll end the show as I normally end mine. And that's to remind everyone to take care, stay strong, because this is how we win.
Amen. Troy?
Yeah, I just appreciate y'all being here. It's super encouraging. Every chat that you, every comment you drop in the chat, every time you hit the like button, it really, really is encouraging to us. This way we know that you're actually enjoying what we're doing, and we'll just keep doing it. So thanks, everyone.
And of course, you know what I always say. We can talk amongst ourselves, and that's all well good and fun. But it's so much more fun when you guys are joining us in the chat. You're dropping your comments, your questions, your trivia. You're just being goofy, whatever it may be. And it doesn't feel like we're separated by miles or in some cases continents. But it feels more like we're all in the same room together, just hanging out, having a good time together. And you're not just our friends, you're our family. And we do appreciate you guys, and we love you. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for encouraging me tonight. Thank you for encouraging our guest, Deleted Scenes, tonight. Like I said before, if you haven't already subbed to Deleted Scenes, make sure you go over to his channel and do that. The link to his channel is in my description below this, right down there. So make sure that you do that. I do know that he has gotten up to 185 last I looked. So keep those subs coming. Big Al says that was Netter's creed. Yes, it is.
Absolutely.
What is it the Mandalorian says?
This is the way.
This is the way.
Thanks, everyone.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.